Okay, so the question is why? Well, this is the error, right? I added extra debug output, so you can see that it is trying to change the size to something smaller. This is the output. So the big window here is the output. It's the X11 backend that I got working. And the inner window is a terminal or a console. And that has this that has the smaller rectangle here. That is the smaller rectangle that you see here, 9927 times 449. And these two have nothing in common. I mean, yeah, obviously one is smaller than the other because you want to see the whole thing, but for the rest, nah. Okay, let's put a breakpoint at, choose the whole thing, should be possible. Continue, break, backtrace. I put the breakpoint in the wrong thing. I should have used this. Let's delete everything. Break that. Continue. Okay, I lost my console for some reason. Let's just restart the whole thing. No, this is the first time I actually have a mismatch. Yep, there it is. Even though this is the first time and the console has not been drawn yet, it's still an empty window. I'm going to guess that it doesn't really matter, right? Maybe you should continue a few times. Okay. So you see it happens a lot. So now we have the console is being drawn, it's smaller, and we are at the point where this error is being printed. Now the output here means the bigger window, which corresponds to the pending width and height, which were filled in by calling the output pending resolution. Which is, I think, always, well, not always, but well, it does return the width of the output, so the larger window, because of that's what it is returning here. But it is only really doing that because it did not commit an output state mode, nor custom mode. And it absolutely beats me what that is, but hey, it's not there anyway. So for now I'm going to ignore it. It feels like that this is kind of a fallback. So this might be a problematic function already. Actually, this one here. So we did not commit an output state mode, whatever that is. I think the mode is stuff like the resolution, and output is output. So yeah. The state contains, the state is what you want. think. That is the request to what you want to be committed. And then if this bit is set, or if mode type is this, then it's stored in state mode, and if the mode type is that one, then it is stored in custom mode, whatever. But yeah, well, neither of those is true, because we don't have anything with the output state mode at all. Actually, output is in the name here also. Output resolution, if you ignore pending. I would understand the pending by the fact that it looks in state. Or like I just said, I think it first changes the state, and then it calls commit, and then if that all the requested changes can be are allowed, then it automatically switches to the new state. So pending would mean that it is not really committed yet. We're trying to commit it maybe, but it's not. Maybe it will fail. Maybe you're going to reject this change, because you can't do it atomically, because there is at least one thing that might fail. And in this case, this one fails because you do the error. So if other things are committed in the same transaction, then they are also not used, because the whole transaction is failing. But anyway, that's the background of what I think means pending here. So if we did not commit a resolution change, then the resolution is not changing. Therefore, the resolution is what it is at the moment, the current output. So it's not really pending, but you might as well pretend it was pending, where, let's say, you have a pending resolution that is equal to the current resolution. So that wouldn't really be a change then, but okay, it's going to be the resolution. So it's more like they call it pending, but I return the current resolution here if there wasn't a change requested. So I'm going to interpret pending as the resolution that we will have hi, flowering. So I think a pending is pending resolution means the resolution that we will have after committing this transaction. And so if there was no change requested, then nothing will be changed, and therefore it will be the current resolution of the output anyway. Okay, I think I now reasoned through what this means. And output pending resolution is being called from, where am I now? That's what we are comparing with, right? So, yeah, so this is this here. We call this function that gets the upcoming resolution or the current one if we don't change it in this transaction. And then it says if the buffer width is unequal to the output width, or height, then we have a mismatch. Well, sorry, but this pending width here says 100% output. Yeah, so that would mean that the state buffer here is interpreted as the output buffer, which it is not, clearly not. Or at the very least the width thereof. Maybe you can print what it is here, what it contains all, state buffer. No, I'm not sure about the events stuff. it does contain previous and next pointers. There's a listener list. This has to do with events. So the pointers here make up a doubly linked list of listeners. But listeners are just things that are being informed when this event happens. We have multiple events. We have a destroy event with listeners, and we have a release event with listeners. And we have an add-ons event, I think. No, that ends here, the events. Add-ons is separate. The implementation points to a client buffer implementation. So yeah, it is a client buffer. A Wayland client, right? The console is a Wayland client. It has a small area, this area. And its buffer is implemented as a client buffer. I'm going to read this thing as being a client buffer, period. It is a client buffer. It literally says so. So this is really intended as just the buffer of this Wayland client, the console. Well, pending width and pending height, as we just saw, 100% has to do with the output. It's just the size of the output. Why would this compare be being made at all, ever? Let's scroll up. So the problem that this code has, apparently, is that we have committed an output state buffer. Well, I would read this as we are attempting to do a transaction, to commit a transaction where the output state is changed, and well, the buffer, in this case the size of the buffer or the format of the buffer, that's the whole bloody output buffer is being changed. But the buffer that we have is a client buffer. And I would say that this buffer here, or state buffer even, refers to state buffer, which is the client buffer. So how on earth would you have a client buffer in here and then at the same moment an output state buffer? Because you shouldn't compare output and client. I have so no clue what they're trying to do here. Now, if the client is full screen, then the size would be equal, and of course the top left coordinate would be at 0, 0, and the width and the height would correspond with. Okay, this is also the output. Okay, I don't understand this test because they already tested it. And this would test the width and the height, and this is just testing the position. Well, if it is at 0, 0, then I'm pretty sure that it would be full screen. So this should then also... This should be equal to that, I would say. But okay, anyway... they refuse to continue with this transaction unless the client window has a size and a position exactly filling the output window. And even if that is true, then it will still fill, because then after that we're going to test the format. And we fill here, because the format is different. The buffers are just completely incompatible. See, this is the same thing. wlr output state buffer. Same as here. So they test the size, the position, and the format, and it's absolutely definitely 100% going to fail. So this is returning false, and then we don't go through with the whole transaction. Which I would say then don't try it even. So yeah, that really comes down to we have to figure out which part of the code is trying this transaction at all. And I guess that would be around where this bit is set to that committed. Somewhere this bit is being set, and that's around where we also initialize the state buffer and stuff. We're now here, which is then inside the function that is testing that, which is apparently output test. I think you might have multiple output tests, but yeah. You need one of the X11 backend. So this one. Okay, so this state means the requested state, or rather the requested state changes, because only what the bits that are set in committed are relevant. And this returns if that state change is compatible with the current output. And this is called from here. This looks like a wrapper around the actual implementation. So this implementation here points to the X11 backend now. And the meaning of this function is the same as the X11 output test function, which returns true if and only if every change in that is marked as being committed in state is compatible, is supported basically by the current output. And here we don't know that it is the X11 backend, but the question is of course the same thing. This is called in order to find out if the current commit is supported with the current backend. And we're going to return false here because our test returns false. And that returns false because we're trying to commit a buffer that has absolutely nothing to do with the buffer of our output. That is, we marked it. We have a client buffer, but we marked it as an output stage buffer, which has the output has a buffer that has nothing to do with the client buffer. What on what's with the copy? I would like to skip this. I'm thinking about if I have to look at this or that I can just pretend that this does not exist and we simply follow the line of thought that this function returns false because of this mismatch. Yeah, maybe to give some insight. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick look at what that is. Wow, a comment. Holy shit, we have documentation. So surprised. This function may attach a new empty buffer if necessary. If so, the new back buffer output parameter will be set to true. Ensure a buffer. So if we don't have a buffer, that it's probably going to create an empty buffer. Feels like a hack. If you already have a buffer, we don't need to allocate a new one. Oh, the thing is, okay, so, well, we're talking, I'm investigating something where the output state buffer bit was set. So this function is just never doing anything. But that is so weird, because the buffer that we do have here I did get a Reddit pop-up. The buffer that we try to commit here, if you ask me, is the client buffer. And this function really talks about output. Something is really wrong here. Anyway, it doesn't seem to make much sense to look at this function. Let's see, render is null, return true. If the compositor hasn't called wlr output init render, they will use their own logic to attach buffers. Enabled is enabled, output enabled. If state committed, output state enabled, enabled is state enabled. So we're using either what the current value or the next value. If we are lighting up an output or changing its mode, make sure to provide a new buffer. Needs new buffer is false. I call it new back buffer here, but it's called new buffer. So there's a word back here missing. Needs new buffer is false. If we committed output state enabled, it becomes true. If the mode is changed, then it becomes true. The render format is changed, it becomes true. That would be changing mode. Allow a reconfiguration and commit sequence equals 0 and enabled. On first commit, require a new buffer. The compositor called a mode setting function even if the mode won't change. This makes it so the swap change is created now. What the heck? If not needs new buffer, return true. True means we already have a buffer. Attaching empty buffer to output for mode set. Buffer is acquire output acquire empty buffer. If that failed, then we failed. Otherwise, we succeeded and the buffer was set. No buffer is going to be set here. Set the buffer. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what this is. It looks like a one big hack from beginning to end. It's like things went wrong and then someone thought, well, let's add this function and maybe then we can work around about all the exceptions that we've run into. And they make an advertisement with that they do it the right way. That was you. So let's ignore this this hack. Plus, it's going to return false anyway because we already have a buffer and everything. Yeah, it's gonna return false. Sorry, it's going to return true because of this already. At the top. This returns true, therefore with the exclamation mark in front of it is false, and therefore we do not do this, and we could call this, which then returns false because of our problem. And this is false too, so we don't do this. So basically this whole function is just the implementation function, the output test function. Create a shallow copy of the state with only the fields which have been changed and potentially a new buffer. Guess that's the comment for the whole function. Where's that disk copy here? Okay, but we are being called with, well, we are being called with a copy. It's a pointer to our state. But copy is the state that is being passed here. I don't know why they're making a copy. Why? Also feels not very nice. Why? But okay, let's assume that this can also be ignored. Then the copy is basically the state that is being passed here. So again, nothing really changes. That's what I wanted to go to, so I'm gonna go up. Scene entry, try direct scan out. Okay, maybe I should understand what that is. No documentation. I have no idea what that means, but it looks like maybe the direct here would refer to the fact that the buffers would be compatible, so you can optimize stuff, like you don't have to copy one buffer to another if they completely overlap. You can just use this buffer. So maybe that's what they're trying. So that just in case the client buffer completely overlaps with in size, position, format, everything, with the output buffer, we might as well swap them, something like that. It's kind of an optimization that you can definitely turn off then for the X11 backend, which is then what I would like to do. But I'm not so sure that that is what it means. Maybe Claude knows, however, or if we don't give it any other information and it comes up with that, then could be kind of pointing in that direction then. Scene entry. This refers to an object in wlroots scene graph, which is a hierarchical representation of the elements to be rendered on screen. Try direct. This indicates an attempt that might succeed or fail based on certain conditions. Scan out in the context of graphics and display systems. Scan out refers to the process where the GPU directly presents frame buffer content to the display hardware without additional composition steps. So yeah, what I do here, I think, is see if this client window is just covering the whole workspace. And if so, then just use the buffer of the client instead of using the so-called composited buffer. So we have an output buffer of my X11 backend, which is the pixmap of the X11 server. And now we have a client, and if that client would have a buffer that completely overlaps with the output buffer, then there is no reason to make a copy. We could just use the buffer itself, the client buffer itself, as to present that to the display, whatever. That's what I conclude now. I already thought that was the case, and whenever I read this, it makes it very likely. Therefore, this function likely attempts to optimize rendering by checking if a particular scene entry, like a service or buffer, can bypass the normal composition pipeline and be directly scanned out to the display. Okay, indeed. Direct scan out is an optimization technique that improves performance and reduces power consumption by avoiding unnecessary composition steps when possible. For example, is a single full screen application. That's exactly what we're talking about, yeah. If a single full screen application is running, it might be more efficient to directly scan out that application buffer to the display, rather than compositing it with other non-existing elements. The function probably checks if the scene entry meets criteria for direct scan out, correct buffer format, properly positioned, no overlapping elements, etc. If how do you pronounce that? Eligible? Configures the necessary hardware path to enable direct scan out, return a success failure indicator based on whether direct scan out could be established. This is part of wlroots' effort to provide efficient rendering path for Wayland compositors like Wave's Way and blah 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 blah. Well, I'm very happy with that. Okay, but I don't want to be flooded with this error. Plus, in the case of the X11 backend specifically, which I'm the only one in the world using because I just fixed that, it is just not necessary. It's just not. I don't think it's necessary. Well, it depends on the format, I guess. What you could do is check the format, and then if the format is different, then just turn off doing this, like ever, again. So maybe I should set this one to false or something like that. Or this. That has to do with the output. That would be easier to change. Let's see if we can touch this and then hope and then make it so that it doesn't change anymore. Okay, this is assigned true here. False here. And oh, I can set an environment variable to suppress it. Could do that, but yeah. I think that currently we get here, right? So I don't want to get here at all. Now here's a false. Turn false. But it should be assigned, I think. Maybe I should look for the direct scan out equals false. Or if that happens in the same function. Try direct scan out. That's what I just was looking at. Scene entry, try direct scan out. Scene entry, try direct scan out. And then it ends with only try. Oh, no, it's true. Yeah, that's not what I want. Scene directs. Is that a different thing? Sample event. This is a sample event. So there's a 2 direct scan outs then. We have one here. It's a Wayland scene. No, actually it's a private part of that. Okay. Yep, we have another one. This is the event. So I'm not interested in the event. I'm interested in changing this private thing here. And this is the event. So that one doesn't count. What about this one then? Also an event, so also not really interesting. The scene direct scan out is then only assigned here, it seems. So normally it is only influenced by whether or not we have an environment variable set. That means that I can set it to false and then it will stay that way. Unless this function is being called often, but I don't think so. Scene create. Scene. Yeah, let's see where that is called from. Hopefully this is just a one-time initialization, but it's per scene. So how many scenes do we have? Cairo buffer, embedded, scene graph. Aha, we call it ourselves. Oh, these are examples. So it is a user function. Yep, this is the declaration in the header. This is the implementation, and you have the user calls it just once. So we call it here. This is my application, tinywl. Yeah, if you just want to avoid the error, I could change the scene here, so in the user code basically. But I think it I want to make it depend on the fact that we use the X11 backend. Because that's the only reason that I feel pretty sure that we should not do it. But I suppose nobody knows. Maybe we can set environment variable ourselves. Really kind of dirty, but hey. Inf parse bool. Just calls getInf option. Suppose there is also a setInf, and then if you call that, then this one is going to return right, that value. GetInf function searches the environment list to find the environment variable name and returns a pointer to the corresponding value string. Putinf and setInf. The string pointed to by the return value of getInf may be statically allocated and can be modified by a subsequent call to getInf, putinf, setInf, or unsetInf. The getInf function returns a pointer to the value in the environment, or null if there is no match. So I think that I should call getInf, and then if it is null, so it was not set already by the user, then I will set it to I'm looking at the wrong function. No, we can set it to 0. So if it is not set to 0 or 1, or well, let's say if it's not set at all, then I will set it to 0. What is the difference between setInf and putinf then? The setInf function adds a variable name to the environment with the value. That's what I want. If name does not already exist. That's also what I want. If name does exist in the environment, then its value is changed to the value. If override is non-zero. If override is 0, then the value of name is not changed, and setInf returns a success status. This function makes copies of the strings pointed to by name and value, in contrast with putinf. So the difference is that it does not make a copy. Well, I don't think I really care about the copy. But if I use a global string literal, or well, like they are always, might as well not make copies. Have a look at putinf. Anyway, putinf is just string. Oh, wait a minute. The putinf function adds or changes the value of the environment variables. The argument string is of the form name is value. Oh, okay. If name does not already exist in the environment, then string is added to the environment. If name does exist, then the value of name in the environment is changed to false. To value, I mean. The string pointed to by string becomes part of the environment. So altering the string changes the environment. I see. So this just adds... I didn't know the environment was stored like that. There's a name value thingy. I might as well use putinf, but then I still have to check if it was set at all. Otherwise, you always set it to 0. Yeah, but might do that. I don't know. I don't like. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I don't like allocate stuff. Well, it could have been avoided. Now we have to find the point, though, where I can decide if this is, if we have something compatible. Now, of course, I can just go to the X11 backend, but I have to compare the format with the format that will be used for the client buffers, which is definitely problematic then. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to set it in my own environment. It's all for developers anyway. Good. Holy shit, that didn't help. I had not expected that. Why the hell not? Damn it. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's a diesel. I'm an idiot. Uh-oh, so stupid. Wait a minute. PE, this one. Disable. Okay, I think the error is gone, but it's still enormously often reading, and this is just stupid flute, right? I go with my mouse over it. The remaining problem, I don't like fluting, so now the problem is why is it calling this often while it never changes? Called from scene output build states. Well, output configure primary swap chain. Huh? Why would I be configuring the swap chain again? So is that doing that every frame or something? Output basic test. It's the output frame. Well, scene output commit. Also here, also here. Output commit state. We'll scene output build state. Scene output build state. Commit state. Output commit state. Output commit state. Okay, it's one of these. Build state and commit state. Which is 1931 and 1935. Let's put a breakpoint here. the hell? Okay. Yeah, we were finally in 1931. Up build state. Commit state. I might have added these myself actually. If that is the case, then I suppose I'll just remove them. Totally. Okay, let's just restore. Might as well restore this soon then, because we know it's fixed. Good. So now we don't have arrows anymore. I can just move over the scene, move this thing. Maximization is not part of it anymore. What the hell? I can't resize it. Why would I not be able to maximize this thing? Maybe it's maximization is simply not supported from the tinywl. It's a very tiny thing. Okay, I'm happy. So this is the beginning then, I would say. What is the next step apart from making dinner? Because it's 6 p.m. I think that the next step is I have to read a lot, every documentation that exists, which is not really streamable. As if this is, but okay. I don't know, these guys pissed me off a little bit, as usual. I'm being pissed off for everyone. So, I don't feel like doing a PR for wlroots either. Might as well merge this into my... yeah, this is now finished, right? Although I don't want to work in master, let's keep master just... as a fast forwardable branch that I can pull from. So maybe I'm just going to... well, actually, maybe I don't need to make any more changes to wlroots, because I'm just going to work on my own compositor, right? Which is a different project. But I think I need a new branch anyway, so... what is a good name for the branch? Maybe I just don't need this. I mean, it's it was something stupid that I saw, and I was like, let's do a PR. And then they started to do difficult about something as simple as this. I'll show you. Do I still have viewers anyway? Yeah, 5 viewers. Look at this. My PR was probably not. Maybe 3 dots. Nope. No, I don't know. That just switch to the branch. Oh, well, wait a minute. That's not helping. Yeah, this was my change, so let me make it visible. So they had to test if the major version is larger or equal 1, or the minor version is greater or equal 1. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like diagonally scanning over this code, and then my brain says, "Eh, what the fuck is going on here?" It's just, who makes a stupid error like that? So then I couldn't help myself but, you know, fixing it. And the most logical thing to me is that they were trying to check that the version is at least 1.2. Which means that either the major version must be larger than 1, or the major version must be equal to 1, and then the minor version must be greater or equal to. I mean, it's just the usual way that you sort stuff that exists of multiple things that can be equal, less than compared. Anyone who's written a comparator for a standard set or a map knows how to do this. And then I got them all over me, like I could abbreviate this by changing it to an and, which was not true. And then they still couldn't admit that it... I don't know, like a whole long discussion formed, and in the end the idea was that, yeah, but by the time the version becomes version 2, we want to reject it also. Because maybe it will not be backwards compatible. It's just bullshit. And then, of course, he didn't merge it, because now apparently the ball is in my garden again, and I have to make that change. So, yeah, they want me to remove this part. So this is only true if the major version equals 1 and the minor version is greater or equal to. But in reality, I am at 1.2. So both are true. And if we ever go to 1.3 or 1.4, then it's still going to be true. And if we are ever going to version 2.0, then it's still going to be true because of this. And that's what I want. Haha. So if I do what they say, then it changes away from what I want, namely that it is true now and forever. So I'm just not going to make this change. They'll do what they want, whatever. Let's remove this whole branch. I don't care anymore. Oh wait, I had an a git function that did it. Git grep remove. Not. Maybe I added it somewhere else. What was I working on before this? Wayfire. Let's go there. Probably. So user source error, I think. Wayfire. Yeah, GitHub maybe. So already probably have it. So set grep remove, and we don't really. Environment also changed again. There's an install source here. Nope. What thought I added it. Okay, I give up. Git branch delete. Now I have to do it from my head with my memory. Cannot delete branch used by us. We're on the thing itself. Git switch backend 11. Delete that shit out of it, and now we're doing git push upstream. So I'm just gonna do GitHub, and then I think you have to do a colon and then the branch name. Deleted. Yay. Now, okay, so well, it was part was a branch that I just deleted was part of the pull request, so they probably get a message about it. Cardo deleted the pull request. I hope they are not too upset. Now I have to turn this into an Arch package, because I want to install it and then just use it as if it is, you know, installed. Maybe I should send an what is it? An upstream request to Arch to include my changes. Although I don't think anyone is interested. It's only interesting for people that are developing on X11. It's a bit too niche. So how do I do that? Now I used to do that by having defined an AUR there, which of course is not defined. Pretty sure I did that actually in the other place. This is AUR. So I have from GitHub wlroots. Yeah, there we are. Now this thing does have an AUR there. Yes. So if it's not a Git repository. Why do I have both a wlroots and one that ends on .git? Oh, I'm only here. Sorry, I have to go inside this. Oh, this is the AUR directory. So my Git directory is then obviously here. And then here we have an AUR there, which is the other one. No, yeah, this is the other one. There's a package build. Looks like a different one than from that. This is again a different one. I'm not really working with master here though, so I think I should have wlroots 0.19 instead of 18. Okay, in the end I'm gonna run configure probably. There is no configure. Well then again, now I am in Git. I'm gonna run make then. So that would be here. Do we have a compile tree? Yes. Construct a compile tree. Do we have an AUR there? Yes. Repo name is wayvar git. Set the source dir to that. Otherwise, if it is wf config, nope. Otherwise, is it wroots? Yes. So we are using 0.18 for some reason, but that's probably only necessary for wayvar then. And then with that source there, we are making a link from the AURDR source that name to the repo base. And then we're building it like that. So, I think that means that I should not use the AURDR that I have here, because that works with this. And we had another one here, which also is a package build. That also has a 0.18 in it. Let's edit this one, but normally I would not use this one apparently. This is not the thing that I was using the AURDR environment variable. And I'm just going to... Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I think I have a better idea. I think Arch must have an AUR for wlroots git. And I'm just going to need that one then. So that does mean that I can remove this one. So this is just not being used at all, right? This one. So let's look for Arch wlroots git. Cross fingers, it exists. Okay, and then we do git clone. And that would be cloned in wlroots git. Wait a minute. Am I crazy, or is this exactly what I already did then? Nope, that looks like a real git. Is it then the other way around? Let's just do it the other way around. So I'm gonna move this to wlroots. That's my git repository then. And I do git clone that URL to wroots git, which then has a package build. And then you look at the package builds, and that is version 0.19. I don't think I would just, well, I'm not sure. Maybe I want to compile this without optimization so I can step into wlroots as well. But it already has it, debug. Build type is debug. It's maybe because it's the Git version. Kinda makes sense, I guess. I'm pretty sure I'm compiling this one like that, so I can spy here. Which configure. It's gonna do this one. Oh, it's printing it. Running blah blah. So this is what I currently use to configure it. And build type debug, nothing else special. Doesn't appear to be the case. This is being set though. I think Ninja would have been picked anyway already, but well, why not add it? I'm gonna do a clear cache, just because if I recompile it, I might as well be sure that it picks up every change. Oh, why does this thing not mention a prefix? It's weird. Is the prefix the default? I think I do want to stop if there is a warning. I think this is how I want to configure stuff, so yeah. Okay, now if you build this package the normal way, like make a package minus S, wait a minute. S is install missing dependencies. Yeah, well, I think we already have everything that we need. That's not needed. I don't want to install it yet. I want to remove everything after we're done. No, I don't, because I want to see what it picks for source here. It's maybe going to be this difficult thing. Seems I need nothing. Okay, so we just do make package. No, whatever. And then it did create a source. Oh, where are we? Nothing. Excusez-moi. Oh, it has to download stuff first. Okay. It's C compiles really fast. That is definitely the pro thing of C over C++. That is 10 times faster in compilation. Confusing. Normally this thing would create a source dir, src. And this looks like it just cloned the wlroots here and then no source here. But did it delete that again? Oh, that's annoying. Now, if you do a no build, then there is still no source there. This is a source there, I think. Does it look like a source there though? Hooks, info, objects and refs. Looks like a shallow Git repository. Totally Git repository. Okay, I'm gonna do an install. Make sure that it did compile something. Damn it, what's going on here? Installing already. Where the hell did it compile? There's the source. It's in build. What? Yeah, that's the source directory. Why is it all the way there and why is it inside build? And where's this source then? That's my source directory. Or is it? Yeah. But. It's so confusing. It's like it's not doing what it would normally or should normally do. It's like using my stuff. This should not even use this directory. See, I'm in Wayfire GitHub wlroots, and then it uses Wayfire AUR wlroots. Why? There's no way. This is just personal choice to call that AUR. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like this. It's like it's building this one. It also has a package build, and then it's using this source directory, etc. Why? Don't tell me I have a make. No, see? It's a puzzle, man. Oh, I know. Yep. make package uses the environment variable build here. So I have that set for personal use, but it's actually using it if it is set. Okay, so I need to unset build here. Now I can do a normal make package. Jesus Christ. Let's just remove this again. Okay, make package. Just run it whatever. And I want to do Ctrl-C as soon as it starts compiling to be sure that we have a source tree. Please. No, it's not going to remove it. Okay, I'll keep it running, I think. Yeah, there is my source tree. So that was the problem. I had a build dir environment variable set. And now you see what it is using. It is using wroot git, which is directly the Git repository. And there is also no extract here, but I'm not sure if I would run this without if I run this with no extract, will it leave my Git repository alone? Prepare Mason set up package version. Provide source. Oh, the source is defined as a Git with an URL. So then maybe I should just point that to my own Git repository. That would be the easiest thing to do. Yes, so we change this URL to my URL, which is git remote. This one. Does it have to be? Can I just not use this? The caller tells me we can't do that. Well, this is git plus. It should work if we do SSH plus. Or not. No, let's use the HTTP thing then. Can we specify the branch name? No, my guess would be that this is the one that does the cloning. But it's not clear in which directory you are in then at that point. Maybe you can print it. Can we print anything at all? Okay, so that works. Let's print the current working directory. Print working directory. Present working directory. What is it? I think print. print. Yeah, okay. That is also so weird, you know. We have a wlroots git here and we have a wlroots git here. Why? Is it cloning it twice? Though this is the shallow thing. I don't want to get rid of that as well. I want to completely switch to a different Git repository. So let's remove everything. No, just remove everything. I mean, wait a minute. No, not package. Source. These things, everything. And then we do a make package again, and now it says username. It doesn't work there, therefore. Damn it. Oh man, why is this so difficult? I'm gonna do this as part of the URL, I guess. Maybe you have to use a slash here. I don't like it that it's red though. It probably just expects an HTTP thingy. Repository not found. .git. Yeah, it just works. You gotta try, man. Oh, like that. This is a directory. Yep. That's mine. But branch is currently a master. That's not what I want. I want this to be checked out. Hey, branch. That's awesome. It told me already. Hashtag branch is. Let's see if that works. Where are we? Nobody knows. We're completely lost. I think I need to go here. Oh, it's just one back. I have to add a branch here. We have add a branch here, and then here is adding .git. That's not what we want. So the .git is already part of this one. Nah, might as well add a branch here, but I think the branch belongs to my URL really. Branch is what was my branch? This is where I'm editing. X11 backend. Good safest if I just remove everything. That was no. Right, so this one now is at git branch master still. What the f? That did not help. Well, maybe it saved it for the other one. I'm completely lost again where we are. Oh, it's the wrong directory. maybe this one, roots git. Git branch, please work. Make package. No, it did check out master. I'm pretty sure about that. Hello, Abhimanyu. Yeah, well, this should work. The add branch, hashtag branch is, they say, after the .git. But maybe you need HTTPS, which then requires a username, which I have, but I don't think I even have a password. Well, that is my branch. Yeah. So it renamed it to make package, but it is still the branch that I wanted. Very strange. And the other one is well, whatever. It works apparently. exists in file system. I probably manually installed it. So I want to install over existing files then. I'm gonna guess 4 should help. Or maybe it's probably a, yeah, I don't know. Could be a Pacman thingy, but let's see if there's something that it says here. Override existing package. Yeah, that's not what I want. So I probably have to install it manually, which I don't know how to do. Was that? I don't know. Everyone dead. Specify. Do I install a .zst with Pacman? Minus U, yeah, I knew it. I probably need to install BUF, so that's gonna be root record Pacman minus U, and then one of these things. And then it's going to say you can't do that because they exist. But now we have upgrades, options. Apply to minus U. No depths. Assume installed. Explicitly ignore needed override. Yeah, that should work. Invalid option override. Of course it's an invalid option. It belongs to the minus U, however, so maybe it works if I put it at the end. Nope. Must be a glob. Override conflicting files. Can use more than once. Just have to add a glob. Did it install anything? I think it's just called git. I did install things. Okay, I'm gonna do sudo pacman remove wlroots .git minus git, and now I want all of these things to be no longer exist. And then we install it again. And this time I should not need override. Yes, okay. And then again, but now with the thing including the debug. It seemed to have worked. Okay, whoa, that was a lot of work. Took an hour, I think, just to install 2 packages. Another question is, can we test this? As in, can we compile tiny thingy, tiny WL, using the installed stuff? Yeah, it's a running package config. That's just for protocols and scanners though. Package what's 19. Package config. Okay, it's using I think this for package config. Yeah. The strange thing is that before installing this, it would just use the build tree. I wouldn't know how that works then. If you look at this, but grep package config. It's pointing at the user local install. Strange. But okay, we do have this file now. Oh well, I thought it was here somewhere. Let's just run package config. Package config. C flags. No. Yeah, well, libs. Yeah, that's 19 for you. That is going to work, right? All right. Says user bin make. $LD library path. There's nothing there, right? There's no wlroots in here. Nope. Just libsuit WDR is in there. Roots is just using what I just installed. So, well, okay. If this works, then the install worked, and it seems to work. So let's actually start something. Console. Yep. That didn't work. Nope. Yeah, I guess maybe the whole loading of plugins needs to be done as well from the compositor, and this compositor is extremely minimal. So turning on the wobbly plugin with WCM just edits a config file, but it has no effect because the compositor is not loading the corresponding plugin. Okay. Why is this file so big? Oh, thank God it's generated. Generated by Wayland scanner. So this is just a definition for the Wayland protocol with a lot of text. More text than code actually. This is the minimum viable project, Wayland compositor based on wlroots. It aims to implement a Wayland compositor in the fewest lines of code possible, while still supporting a reasonable set of features. Reading this code is the best starting point for anyone, that's me, looking to build their own Wayland compositor, still me, based on wlroots. Building tinywl. Well, I think we passed that point. Run make. Oh, wait a minute. We also have Wayland protocols as dependency. I'm not sure I installed that correctly. Well, I did install it, but I didn't make any changes to it. The point is, however, that if this is from Git, then probably I need the Wayland protocols from Git as well then. Or they might not correspond. Yeah, okay, running it. You can run it in an existing Wayland or X11 section, unless you're using NVIDIA. But you have, well, you understand what I mean. Virtual display. You can then open Wayland Windows by setting Wayland display to the values shown in the logs. You can also use tinywl on the T2Y. In either case, you will likely want to specify -s command to run a command at startup, such as a terminal emulator. This will be necessary to start any new programs from within the compositor. tinywl does not support any custom key binding. tinywl supports the following key bindings: Alt plus Escape, terminate the compositor, Alt plus F1, cycle between windows. Limitations. Notable omniscience from tinywl. HIDPI support. Nobody knows what that is. Any kind of configuration. The output layout. Any protocol other than XDG shell, e.g. layer shell for panels, tasks, etc. Or X-Wayland for proxied X11 Windows. Optional protocols, e.g. screen capture, primary selection, virtual keyboard, etc. Most of these are plug and play with wlroots, but they are omitted for brevity. Let's try the Alt Escape then. Alt, where's my Alt? Alt Escape. Hey, how bloody works. Yeah, so this thing is a dependency as well. Now I have I'm having this version here. Well, that can only mean one thing, I would say, and that is that Arch also you need this. It's hardly related anymore to this because I don't think I want to use Wayfire. I just went here because I had this directory anyway already. Maybe I should use this to compile that stuff. Let me try it like git clone. Yeah, I think this is not really using any code or something, or you can just use it as is, right? As long as we get a Git version. Pretty sure that this packet version is overridden with this. It's simply getting it from whatever you check out. And we get a latest thing, and then hopefully they are in sync. It's probably not very important, you know. You have to keep in the back of my mind that if at some point something goes wrong because there seems to be incompatibility between what is expected and what the actual protocol definition is, then I need to update it. But okay, let's begin with installing the Git version, which then means I have to run make package here, and in this case SI. Remove Wayland, yes. Proceed, yes. No, don't install it. So now I have also the Git version of Wayland protocols. And I would be interested to see if that will cause the... I think I was here. Too much, damn it. Is this going to cause tinywl to recompile? Nope. I think it should do that. If it is really depending on it, it should, at the very least should include a header from it, right? Or am I crazy? Unstable. Staging. Protocols.pc. There's a user include. User include Wayland protocols, which might or might not have been included. Definitely all kinds of headers. Package config, libs, empty, C flags, also empty. Well, how about no? Okay, pretty empty. But. Yeah, but that is already part of the repository. So this was already generated and then generated file added to the repository. The stupidity of it all. This readme tells me that it is a dependency. Dependency. And I'm trying to find out how the hell it is a dependency apart from this being generated from it then. I mean, they should have been doing that then. Or I can repeat that maybe. But do we really use anything from what I just installed? The makefile doesn't. Actually it does. Well, but not really. I mean, package data there, well, protocols, it is mentioned, and then we do a package config and we get the variable. Oh, okay, I should have done this, sorry. Ding, 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 ding. So here, now I've tried the C flags and libs, but that gives us something, so okay. Oh, that didn't change, but we did install new stuff in it, maybe. Yeah, here, the unstable and stuff. But okay, that doesn't say much. Then subsequently, that directory is being used only to pass the XML, XDG shell XML. Oh, the scanner is being run if this file doesn't exist. Oh, okay. So that is the dependency. Then you are totally right, Overflow. It's just that they added this already. Or maybe they didn't. That's a good question. Maybe it was already generated. Yeah, probably. So then the dependencies are simply missing. the thing should have had dependencies on all files. And probably that's a bit much, so they just require you to remove that file before, well, after you update the package. Okay, so now we have the dependency here, because I did run this thing. And then it did, now this was regenerated, it did indeed recompile. Okay, so now you say, what the hell is he doing? But you see, I was right. I had to realize that you have to remove this file if you update or change that protocol. So just installing it was not enough. Yeah, nothing changed. It's still... it already worked and it still works, obviously. I'm kind of stuck because I don't know what to do next. Well, yeah, like I said, I probably have to start reading stuff. There's nothing else to read here. Well, they say... reading this code is the best starting point. So you have to start. I probably have to start reading the code first, at the very least. Yeah, I don't know. I have to understand that I want or need to support that like ever. What do you think? Would I need to support this? Support refers to handling displays with high pixel density. Without proper high DPI support, a Wayland compositor like tinywl would render everything at native resolution, make the user interface elements appear tiny on high resolution displays. Okay. Lack the ability to scale windows and user interface elements appropriately. Not handle mixed DPI setups, e.g. we're connecting both standard and high resolution monitors. Implement high DPI support would require detecting display DPI and scaling factors, supporting fractional scaling, properly scaling services and input coordinates, communicating scaling information to clients. So difficult. Yeah, feels like if you want to write a real compositor, then you have to support it. XCG shell protocol. tinywl implements this basic protocol, which handles window management, creating, positioning, and resizing. Basic declaration handling, maximization, and full screen states. No, I could not maximize. Yeah, you're right. If you don't do it from the start, it's probably going to be way, way harder. But that makes the barrier at the beginning to make a start also higher, because I can now not even begin until I exactly understand what it means. So, but from your remark, I understand that you are also working on or going to work on writing a Wayland compositor, Mr. Overflow, sir. Tell me about it. What is yours called? What are you? How long have you been working on it already? You already finished it? Now I want to see the source code. I mean, Wayfire, for example, has been working with multiple people on it for 7 years now, and they are not finished. And you did it in a month. Either you're a genius or you only have a very simple version as well. I mean, don't tell me you have a wobbly, that you have a rotating cube working, stuff like that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a compositor that's not really a compositor, but it's just your open box simplicity, flux box simplicity. I don't need the rotating cubes. I mean, once you have something simple, maybe someone will come along and say, hey, I want to add a rotating cube. And I have to say that one of the professional looking things from Wayfire is the way they set up modularity. So they have a lot of plugins, and you can almost separately work on it as a different project. So it's like more plugin than anything else. Just a basic framework, and then everything is separate. That's kind of attracts developers, maybe, or at least it makes it a lot easier for people to work on it. Instead of having, say, everything in one monolithic .cpp file. Hoi man. Yeah, damn it man, I should start making dinner. Let's do that. I'm okay. The nightmare started when... Oh, wait a minute. You just wanted to hear... I'm good. This protocol enables creation of user individual layers that exist outside the normal Windows stacking order. Let me copy that before I make a typo. How do I find people on Discord? By just name. I'm hanging out on this currently. Better C++. I have my own Discord server, of course. I guess I have to go here. Yeah, I don't want to click on it while it is on the screen, really. Let me see where I end up. Friends. Search. That doesn't work. All. Search. Add friend. Search. Success. Oh. Did you get a friend request from me? It says that it was successful. Okay, yeah, it's kind of scary not having any servers in common. Can I invite you to my server? I'll just send an invite and then see if you join or not. Invite people. Invite. So. Then I'll stay in contact, and I'm going to make dinner now, of course. It's too late already. I should eat. I'll be back later. See you.